So here we are once again, we find ourselves in the cockpit of a new Audi product. And that's a good thing because lately Audi's kind of been kicking some butt. Thank you, Nav, I will take that under consideration. Today's product is the all-new 2018 Audi S5 Sportback, which is a model we haven't seen on our shores before. Europe's had Sportbacks, but this is new to us. Basically what it is a coupe-like sedan hatchback. So it's a lot of different vehicles in one. It's more utilitarian and practical than a sedan and a coupe, but it isn't quite a wagon or a crossover because that's a naughty word here in the US. However, it's weird because all these automakers are building cars around the fact that they don't want to build a wagon, but a wagon would knock off 3 models out of a lineup and make it a little more succinct and easy to deal with. But they can't do that because Americans are allergic to wagons. So we're dealing with the S5 Sportback instead as I send my phone flying. As it sits though, thankfully, this is a pretty good car. So, familiar formula by now. We've basically got the S4, as I have my notes sitting up here. It's familiar formula. 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine up front. The turbo is a single turbo. It sits in the valley of the V. It makes 354 horsepower and it will propel this car from 0 to 60 in around 4.5 seconds, based on what Audi says. Now, I think it might be a little faster than that. They underrate their things, so it could be a little bit quicker. We could get closer to 4 seconds, 4.3. That's very quick for a car like this, which is essentially a very nice mid-level luxury executive sedan. It's an executive sedan though, where the executive would be rocketing down the Autobahn or the 405. Just, keep your radar detectors up. It looks pretty good. It's sharper than just a regular sedan. It's built on the bones of, you think it's A5, but it's actually A4 wheelbase. That's how they had to stretch it to get the roofline to do its thing. I don't love the finish of the roofline compared to the first gen A7, because that is a damn good looking car. This doesn't come right to a point like the old A7 did. This one kind of has a little bit of a deck lid, and you know what, it's fine, it works, it's more interesting, but it doesn't look as good as that old A7 did. That is still that's a great looking German hatch sedan, which is just a weird thing to say, hatch sedan. But compared to the S4, S5, SQ5 vehicles we've already driven, there's no surprises here anymore. This thing drives really well. It sticks really well in the corners. This one is fitted with the adaptive suspension. Now, unlike the SQ5, this one doesn't raise and lower, but that's fine. The ride height here is nice and aggressive. It sits nicely over the 19-inch wheels for a good stance. Wide 255 series rubber, keeps everything in check in the corners, and then this one has the optional sport rear diff, so it can vector torque. 100% of the torque that is going rearward can go to the right or left tire. Basically, that means you take your fat right foot, you put it down to the floor earlier in the corner, and you make power, and you don't look like an idiot coming out of the corner. You can put it into ESC Sport, and when it's in dynamic mode, because this does have Drive Select, it almost has a launch control-like program, which, if I can get a minute of no one behind me, let's see what we got here. No one's coming. I'm not gonna hit the guy in front of me, so let's do foot on the brake, right from the gas. There we go. So, decent noise from the exhaust there. It's it's actively baffled. It's making some fun noises. It's not as fun as the SQ5 in terms of noise, but I'm still happy to see Audi putting more noise out there. With an aftermarket exhaust, this thing would probably sound pretty incredible, but as it sits, it's not bad. Audi's always been about understated subtlety with the luxury and the sportiness, and it's no different here. So, again, no surprises. The real big difference here with the S5 Sportback compared to everything else we've driven so far is the shape. You get more legroom back there than just if they had built this on the bones of the S5. So thankfully they didn't do that. Because it's an A4, you've got some room. So basically what you have is an S4 with just a touch more style. That's what it is. You can fold the rear seats down, and when you do that, Audi says you can fit 7 full-size suitcases, which is a ton of luggage. Maybe you don't need to pack so heavy, unless you're Kanye West and you're driving the new S5 Sportback and it's filled with Louis Vuitton behind you. But good for you, Kanye. Carry Kim around. So this is if you want an S4 sedan, but you need to occasionally carry things, get the S5 Sportback. Starts in the mid to low 50,000 price range. Add a few options, you're probably right around 60,000, and you have a sweet little car.